All right, Piss and Vinegar Day 116, I think. Arm Wrestling Day. Again, I haven't got headphones, so I can't listen to music, which puts a damper on things, but I'm going to get some wireless headphones. That way I can listen to music when I train whilst narrating this. And I don't know how that's going to work, because it's going to be hard having loud music in my ear balls or in my ear holes whilst also trying to talk, especially if they're noise cancelling earphones, but I'll figure it out. And yeah, arm wrestling day. So typically I would have done arm wrestling day yesterday, and then I'd follow up today with the cardio / abs. But I did like a 4-hour walk today, and I've been walking a lot lately, so I thought, fuck the high intensity cardio today, I just couldn't be bothered. So what I'm gonna do is, and I skipped training yesterday, so I'm just gonna do my arm wrestling abs today. And that's simple. And my hip flex has been playing up a little bit, so I didn't really want to do sprints today anyway, just playing on the side of caution. So if you guys have been watching my arm wrestling, or your arm wrestling fan, my fan base that is the arm wrestling part of it, if you watch my arm wrestling videos, you know that side pressure, every third or fourth week I get kind of overtrained and I have to back off, and then I resume the week after. I'm typically stronger. I think I'm on week 3 right now, so we'll see how I go today, but there's a good chance that this will not work, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's fun warming up with weights that I previously used to do, sets of 5 with and struggle with, and now it's butter. It doesn't feel like nothing. All right, we'll go 46.5. So we'll see. 45 last week felt pretty remarkably easy. We'll see how 46.5 feels. I feel like I'm not set up correctly. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't feel so great. I think I'll just get by. I think I'll get probably 3 sets of 5. And then next week I'll try to get 5 sets of 5. Or maybe next week will be that stall out week where I have to take a week off. But we'll see. That doesn't feel too bad, but it is pretty painful. It's a strange sensation, side pressure. If you haven't done it before, or you're more of a bodybuilding guy and you haven't really, put your arm into this awkward position, it's not like bicep curls or tricep extensions where the muscle is the pain. It's ligaments and tendons and connective tissues that are being stretched, and you're trying to make as tight and stable as possible, and it's incredibly painful. And yeah, so we'll see how I go, but it's sometimes the strength isn't there because the tendons and ligaments just haven't quite healed up yet, because tendons and ligaments take a lot longer to heal up than muscles. But also sometimes it's the pain tolerance, it's just so aching that you have to take a week off. So we'll see how you go, or see how I go, not you. Okay. Fuck, that's pretty rough, man. I think I've got one more set of that in me before it's just too much. Oh, shit. So, one thing I've noticed from the side pressure training, because I only do it right-handed, is I have hypermobility in my elbows. And my left side, which I don't really, or haven't really trained it at all with side pressure, still has an incredible amount of hypermobility, whereas my right is almost straight now. I don't know, it seems like maybe half a centimeter of hypermobility, but through strengthening the tendons, ligaments, creating probably, what do you call it? Increasing the cartilage and our brain. It's been a long day. There's a word for when your joints start increasing, calcification. I think there's been calcification in my joints, and this is a common occurrence with arm wrestlers where after decades and decades of arm wrestling, a lot of these guys can't open their arms even to straight. Michael Todd, Devin Larratt, Denis Saplankov. A lot of these guys simply can't open their elbows. And it's funny, it doesn't affect everybody. And you'd think it affects side pressure arm wrestlers the most because that's what really causes it. But then Todd Hutchings, who's the king of side pressure, does constant side pressure training. His elbows fully extend. So I think it depends. There's genetic components to it, injury components to it. But yeah, I'm starting to get that. And for me, it's been beneficial. It means I don't have that hypermobility anymore. Not that that's a huge benefit, really. If anything, it actually takes away from my ability to contract my right tricep, which is my weaker tricep. But as far as arm wrestling goes, it's cool. Maybe I'll get to that half-bent arm where I'll be able to king's move due to that. All right, one more set, unless I get some miraculous pain reduction. I think this will be the last one because it's aching pretty bad. Okay. Yeah, that's it for side pressure. Not all 5 sets of 5, but so be it. Still strength increase. And yeah, again, the limiting factor on the side pressure is oftentimes just your pain tolerance, not necessarily the stability or weakness. This next movement, I may have forgotten how exactly I set it up, but I'll try to remember. I think I kind of place my hands here and then cup in. Problem with some of these non-standardization movements that, just are made up on the fly, you kind of forget how you set it up, and sometimes an inch of difference between the setup or, the angle or whatever it is could be the difference between you feeling artificially stronger or weaker the next day or the next session, and you kind of falsely progress or regress. So it's good that you should, well, I'm being a hypocrite here, but you should write down exactly how you set things up, especially arm wrestling related things where, it's not like a set in stone chest press machine where there's no variable. But at least I have a recording so I can go back if I really can't remember how to do something. I have a recording of the original time I did it and kind of can easily emulate it. But that's also a thing you could do is, if you're trying to standardize something, record it the first time and then make sure you never deviate from that. I was doing a variation where I was on this angle and I'd fight the weight this way. Now the problem was having my wrist on the bench like that and doing it from this angle was moving my unstable ulnar bone around. Now, the ulnar bone doesn't attach to your hand through the wrist joint. It's just the radius. So there's a gap here, and I was starting to get pain through there, which I was initially enjoying because it was not so bad that I couldn't do it, and it was actually growing my ulnar bone through Wolf's Law, which is very effective through arm wrestling because a big, thick wrist is important in many ways. But it was starting to get to the point where I think it was damaging my wrist, so I stopped doing it. Now, what I'm doing now is more, because that variation was more for training the wrist tendons versus the hand strength, whereas this variation is more going through my fingers. However, it's not that big a deal. At the end of the day, if your wrist is cupping in, you're training wrist flexion, that is training your wrist tendon and all that different stuff. So, and at the end of the day, arm wrestling starts with the fingers. So it doesn't matter how strong your wrist is, if the guy opens up your fingers, well, you're gonna lose your wrist. So I decided I'd do this, and at the end of the day, my limiting factor is my fingers because they're so short, whereas the wrist isn't really my limiting factor. So even though that exercise was great for training the wrist and potentially thickening up the wrist, I think ideally this is all I really need. And then I also do dead hangs to even further facilitate finger strength. So this one's also better for bodybuilding. I feel a hell of a lot more through the forearm, but then also I feel it more in the hand. So it's kind of a win-win, and it doesn't give you wrist pains. Now I'm just hoping that I've set it up correctly. I think last time I had a towel there. I think I'll start with left from now on because that's my weaker forearm. Out of all the training I do, this is the most painful one. Arm wrestling day is so very painful. The forearms have more proprioception or pain receptors out of just about any other muscle in your body because it's so close to the hands, which require a lot of pain receptors through evolution because we feel things through our hands, but secondly, importantly, is our forearms. So very painful. Fucking, oh, holy shit. Oh, man, that's something else. I was also thinking today, oh man, maybe 6 months ago, I sound a bit more docile today, a bit quieter because it's late, so I don't want to piss off the neighbors, but also I'm pretty tired. I did 4 hours of walking today, so, but anyway, about 6 months ago, I was at the pub, and I've actually tried this line a few times where, occasionally at pubs, dudes will just test you and, say, you want to take it outside or whatever. And me personally, I don't want to take it outside. I don't like fighting. I can very much handle myself, but that's more so the problem is the kind of guy that wants to fight you at a pub doesn't even, like every fight I've ever been in at a pub, you very quickly realize that people that try and fight you at pubs don't know how to fight. And then the problem is, if you knock them out in Australia especially, or you do damage, you can get sued, you can go to jail, you go for a long time for manslaughter. So I don't like fighting because, one, it's scary. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You never know if he's going to pull out a knife or get a lucky hit and then decide to stomp your head in after the fact. So by no means am I some hard, tough guy that thinks I'm going to fucking be immortal. I'm going to be, totally safe. No, that's not it. But also the biggest fear is, the issue of potentially going to jail for slaughtering someone that doesn't actually know how to fight or anything. But anyway, something I used about 6 months ago was some guy was trying to test me and say he wanted to take it outside. And for a while, anytime that would happen, I would just tell people I'm scared, which is partially true, but also it was more so because most of the time, if you're in a self-defense situation or a situation where someone's trying to test you, especially when they're drunk, they don't actually want to fight you. They just want to prove a point to their ego or to their friends. So if you can give them the victory before the fight starts, really you win because you avoided conflict. So I would say, I'm scared of you, bro. I don't want to fight you. And that would just almost always settle it. They go, oh, fucking pussy. But that's all they wanted. They wanted to win the ego victory. But then I was drunk enough, 6, 7 months ago, I don't drink anymore, where I said, no, man, I'm not going to fight you, but would you like to arm wrestle? And funnily enough, I've used it before, and it actually normally just makes people even angrier. But I'd say, it's like giving them an option to battle in a far safer way to get their ego out. And this guy was like, yeah, but you don't want to, go outside and throw punches. I was like, no, let's arm wrestle. If you want to do some sort of dick measuring contest, let's arm wrestle. So anyway, we sit down, we arm wrestle. I crush him because I actually train arm wrestling, and he wasn't a big imposing guy. But the thing is, it diffused the situation. And I would have thought that if I crushed this guy and then arm wrestle, he'd actually get even angrier and want to fight me even better. But actually, it gave him a sense of reality of the strength difference between us two, and probably made him think, oh, maybe it was probably the best I didn't fight that guy. But, or whatever it was, he actually diffused the situation. And then I just talked to this guy, and then we just arm wrestled for like 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was. Honestly, I can't quite remember because I was quite hammered, but I kind of made some, leeway with this guy through arm wrestling. So I don't know how you could apply this to your own life, but you could apply it to a situation that's sticky, like someone wants to fight you and just say, hey, look, man, I don't want to fight you, but if you'd like to, we can arm wrestle. And you never know, they might say yes, and then you arm wrestle them. Maybe you let them win. Maybe that'll diffuse it even further. But anyway, that just came into my mind as I was doing that set, so I thought I would mention it because you never know. It might save you some jail time or whatever it is, because fighting in the streets is not cool. And I don't care how tough and big you are. Some dude has 4 other mates that you can't see coming behind you. He's got a knife in his back pocket. He actually knows how to fight better than you. He's just an angry piece of shit, and he beats the snot out of you, and it's not a good situation to be in. So hold hands, don't punch people with your hands, hold their hand. Fuck. Oh, it's hard not to scream and be loud, especially on these arm wrestling days. Ooh, yeah. shit. Now, in saying that victory story, you have to understand that also there are people who will get angry at you in arm wrestling, especially people that don't know how to do it or don't realize that you're not actually cheating, you're just using technique. In pubs, at least, you know, when there's alcohol involved, if you want to arm wrestle people in pubs, you got to understand that, you know, maybe 1 in 20 people are fucking retarded and will try and fight you or get aggressive with you if you beat them. So nice, like for the most part, people have been very nice, and actually it's a great way of, you know, making a friend for the night at pubs. Because I'm a kind of person where, you know, if I'm at the pub or something, I'm not looking to just sit there and have mundane conversations with people who I don't find that interesting most of the time, or just sit there and drink and do nothing. Like, I'm the kind of person who likes to play pool or do something. Like I like activity. I'm an activities-driven drunk, right? So I like to arm wrestle, and 99% of the time, it's a very cordial experience, especially if it's tourists. Like Irish dudes are fine. You go up to them and you say, hey, like, you know, you guys want to arm wrestle for a drink? And Irish guys will always be like, oh, fuck it, of course, mate, let's do it. And, you know, and then like when you beat them, they have a massive amount of respect for, you know, your physicality, like a lot of Irish or like Eastern Bloc, or in my case in Australia, like if you run into a group of Maoris, they're very much into physicality. So it's a good way of making a group of friends for the night or just hanging out with people. And also it's the kind of people that I would like to hang out with when I'm drinking too. I'm not looking to hang out with a bunch of artsy lefties when I'm drinking, when they're talking about social issues. I'm more into dudes, you know? I'm not into dudes, but like I'm into hanging out with blokes, like masculine dudes, or not masculine dudes, it's a very cringe way of saying it, but just, you know what I mean? Like just men, right? So it's a great way of making friends for the night, arm wrestling people at pubs, but you have to understand that every now and then you're going to run to the guy who's like, you're fucking cheating, and then they want to actually, I've had a guy try to fight me because I beat him in arm wrestling. So on the flip side of the win of de-escalating a potential fight, we also have this situation where arm wrestling can cause a fight. So if you're interested in arm wrestling people in pubs for free drinks and stuff, or just hanging out and making friends, you got to understand that some people are fucking, there's something loose inside. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe most people think it's cringe to arm wrestle people at pubs, but you have to get over your social anxiety and just sometimes you just got to be outlandish. People respect when you approach them with, you know, unusual approach, rather than going up to a table of people and saying, hey guys, how's your night going? It's kind of like, who's this fucking guy? Whereas if you go up to a table of people you don't know and say, you guys want to arm wrestle for a drink, it's like, it shoots them off, it shoots them off their, I don't know, equilibrium, I guess. They're kind of like, what? Who's this fucking guy? And a lot of times they'll be like, sure, let's do it, especially when alcohol's involved. So if you're a young guy and you want to socialize, but you have a hard time making friends and all that, and you want to go out and have fun, it's a good way of getting in fun. And then if you also do arm wrestling, then it's, you know, it's a win-win. Man, these are so much harder now that I'm so much heavier. I know, oh shit, that's already. Well, I didn't set my hand up right. My hand's hurting real bad. What the fuck? Oh man, I fucking hate these. Oh man, the release pain. Oh, I can barely move my fingers. I don't think I got anywhere as much as last week. Your hand set up on dead hang is really important, especially when you have really short fingers. So it's much harder to do dead hangs with these fat grips, or at least it is for me. For some people it's actually easier, but if I hold onto the small bar, I'm holding on to like a minute and a half easy, but with those fat grips, I'm looking at 40 to 60 seconds. But man, you get a crazy pump. And if you're just looking to build, big, strong forearms and you don't really care about arm wrestling, just simply doing a fat grip dead hang to absolute failure will get you most of the way there to get some pretty big forearms. Fucking heavy today. Something different. Fuck it. Oh, what the fuck? Fuck. Boy. Well, I don't know what's going on today. Again, every little inch of standardization is important, so I've probably misgrooved something or changed something here without my knowledge. So that sucks, but I'm just gonna keep going and get as much muscle damage as I can. Ooh, fuck. Ooh. This contraption is a bit shoddy. Again, these homemade contraptions I've got does make standardization a little bit harder because they get set up differently, all the time. So again, standardization's it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, if you're just progressing up and up, every time you train, you are going to get stronger. So, just train to failure and then try to keep progressions and standardization as close as you can. But if you get too over-analytical, you'll get paralyzed by it being over-analyzed, which is kind of the topic I went over in my newest video. If you haven't checked it out, is Eric Bugenhagen versus Mike Israetel. And I was kind of commenting on Eric's criticism of Mike being too overly analytical, too optimized, hungry, and rather than just having fun and generally just letting, the basic principles of progressive overload and intensity allow you to get the same results anyway. I mean, you look at Mike and you look at Eric. Eric is bigger and stronger, which doesn't necessarily mean he's correct, but there's many ways to skin a cat. So, yes, you might not have your training 100% optimized, but what's 100% optimal for one person can oftentimes not be 100% optimal for another, especially from the perspective of if you're constantly overly analyzing your training and you're super neurotic, you're no longer going to be having fun. Fun is numero uno. As soon as you stop having fun, you'll stop adhering. And as Stan Efferding says, compliance is the science. So the scientific is, these science motherfuckers like Mike Israetel want to be. Compliance is the science. If you do something that's 90% optimal 100% of the time, this is my quote, you'll be far better than the guy who does 100% optimal training 10% of the time. So standardization is just another sort of one of those things where you don't want to be too over-analytical. Get pretty standardized or as standardized as you can, but don't freak out when you lose a little bit of standardization week to week.
as a 16-year-old, I didn't give a shit about standardization. I would just train hard and loosely progress, and I made incredible gains as a teenager, because when you're a teenager, you don't give a shit about that stuff. So you can get big, and you look at Eric's training, he's the epitome of that. The guy doesn't there's no structure to what he does. He just trains hard, eats a lot, takes steroids, but overall makes incredible gains. Oh, this is not feeling right either. In saying that, if you're totally off the standardization, then you'll really fuck things up, which I have done today somewhere, because this is way fucking harder than normal. What the fuck? Yeah, that's, something's off there. That's fine. I'm on extreme battery saving mode now. So I'm not sure how much recording I have left. It might last from the rest of the session. I'm about to do abs. It might not. But I don't know. I could plug it in, I suppose. But then, no, I can't, because in this new microphone, you have to plug it in for the receiver to then pick up this Bluetooth mic. So, I don't know, you may or may not see me do abs, which isn't that exciting anyway. Oh, fuck. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how much strength I'm able to continuously build on this movement. It's such a small muscle, and small muscles normally take forever to progress, but I don't know what the fuck it is with these reverse curls or reverse forearm curls, but man, I just keep going up like at the same speed as like a dumbbell press. It's fucking crazy. Maybe it's like some weird strength. Maybe I just have some weird strength genetics for specifically wrist extension, which is fucking annoying because it means hell of a lot little in arm wrestling. In arm wrestling, it's all about pronation and cupping, but maybe my ability to top roll through wrist extension, that kind of around the bout Travis Bagent top roll where he kind of gives and then rolls around. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's going to be my technique one day, is pulling back with wrist extension. Oh, that drop set's way too light. Yeah, that's hundreds of reps there. Oh well, the set to failure will do. All right, let's see if my phone will allow me to record my abs. Right. Hopefully it's still recording. Might put my mic on the phone or the floor. Oh shit, that hip flex is cramping, fuck.
So the camera died, so as I expected. So you missed out on a few more ab exercises, but nothing crazy. So see you guys tomorrow from More Piss and Vinegar. Bye bye.